I heard you mention a while ago there's some family in Tasmania and they had autistic children, and they're working to release their emotions, and the children were benefiting.
They're no longer doing that.
Oh, okay.
No.
I just wanted
what was your question about that?
Sure, I'm autistic. I just wanted to know as an adult what I can do to help myself and feel more integrated into society, not alone, so separate.
Yep. There's a lot of people we've met who come to Divine Truth seminars that have what the average person would call autism or Asperger's. The main reason why it's there is because of the lack of connectivity to emotion, as you know, right?
Yeah.
Now, that always occurs in childhood. Parents always have forced the child in some way to be disconnected from itself. Now, there's two types of parents that do that. There's the type of parent that sort of suck the life out of the child. You know, that they want the child for themselves. They want the child to validate themselves, you know. So you see a lot of parents nowadays, and this is why Asperger's and autism is becoming more prevalent, is because there's a lot of parents now that are only having their children for the sake of the parent's emotion and no other reason, right? They don't have a feeling of giving to the child. They don't have a feeling of letting the child have its feelings. They only want the child to feel what the parent feels. Yeah, so the parents have a very strong desire like that. So firstly, your parents must have been like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So the way that a person like yourself handles that is by distancing yourself from your own emotions. You follow?
Yes. I do.
Yep.
Yes.
It's a purposeful choice.
It's a way to manage the situation.
To manage the parents' projections.
Yes, understand, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, then usually in childhood, the parents are now criticising the child, saying, oh, the child's so emotionally disconnected from everyone now. So now the parents are blaming the child for the parent's own behaviour, which makes it even worse, because now the child is getting blamed for having a condition that the parents didn't create, when the parents actually created it. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
So the parents don't want to believe they've created it, and so they disclaim all responsibility for creating that condition, and now they've got to find a disease or a problem that they can label that blames the child for that condition. You follow me?
Okay, yes.
Yep. So this is the general pattern of a person who has these so-called syndromes, like Asperger's and autism. What can we do about it as an adult, was your question?
Yes.
Yeah. You can see fundamentally, partly it is undoing the thing that was done to you.
Right.
So by the time you were, shortly into your childhood, by this stage your parents had done so much of this to you to blame you for their, sucking and demanding treatment of you, that you naturally went away, you naturally withdrew from them, but you also withdrew from your own feelings. So the key now is to reconnect with your own feelings about what it felt like being a child with those parents.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can pray a lot about this, because God will help you do this in terms of help connect you with your feelings about it. So the key for you is to, firstly, you need to see that your condition, as you call it, is really a condition created by your parents' behaviour towards you.
Okay.
Their feelings and their emotions and their actions. Because not only did they have feelings and emotions, but when you responded in the way you did, they then took actions to blame you for their feelings. And
that's true. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So fundamentally they're saying, you have the problem, not them.
Yes.
That's their underlying motivation to believe that they've been good parents You're the problem. You're the problem. You're the one who's, for some reason, got this condition. So it's very important for you to face the truth that actually no, their emotions were the beginning of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, similar to what we were saying to Johnny in a way, but
right.
but it's even stronger demand in your case by the parents to believe that they're all fine and that you're the problem. Mm-hmm. When really what's going on is that you were just withdrawing. You did two things as a child. You withdrew from them,
yes,
which is a natural thing to do if somebody's oppressing you.
Of course, yeah.
So you withdrew from them, but you also learned to withdraw from your feelings about that.
Right, yeah.
So now what your goal is to reconnect with your feelings about that, about what they did.
Okay.
You follow?
I do, yes.
Yeah. If you can reconnect with the feelings about what they did, then you'll connect yourself to yourself and your feelings, your soul, and you'll let yourself have those feelings. And that will have a great help to your healing of the condition.
So it's really about forgiveness?
Sorry?
Forgiveness?
Well, that's what the end result will be.
Okay,
but there's two things to forgive here. Firstly, there's forgiving yourself for the withdrawal, you could say, or you could say repenting for the withdrawal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that means just allowing yourself to go, I don't want to be this withdrawn anymore. Mm-hmm. I want to reconnect with myself. But then also, secondly, to understand that the reason why you're so disconnected is because mum and dad had so much oppressive emotions towards you, firstly, and then secondly, they blamed you for your response to that.
Yeah.
They did both of those things. They had all this oppression, but then on top of that, they then blamed you for the oppression, the response that you had for their oppression.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
And the key is to face the truth of that. Now, there's, you've got some lovely spirit friends who want to help you do that. So,
okay.
Yep. You're actually quite well cared for spiritually.
Yep.
So the key for you is just to sort of focus on the reality, that is the reality.
Okay.
And this is why you feel disconnected from everybody now. Do you know what I mean? Because the tendency is to go, well, everybody's oppressive. And to be frank,
a lot of people are.
Most people are. You know what I mean? And so it's sort of like the tendency now to go, everyone's oppressive. I'm protecting myself from everybody now by not having my feelings about it all. Yeah.
Right.
And
Fantastic.
one of the, a lot of people who have autism as adults actually become quite angry with others, but you don't have that problem.
No.
You
No.
don't.
No.
So I think you're going to do well in this.
I think so, yeah.
I'm sorry, I've just forgotten your name.
John. Yeah.
John, when you think about emotion, how do you have any response to that?
I guess kind of distant, really.
Yeah.
It's just
About
still
it. About
off,
it, yeah.
away.
Connection, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you do as Jesus said, to really focus on
Yeah.
oppression is probably going to be one of the first feelings that you feel. It is feeling oppressed, which is not necessarily a nice feeling.
Yeah.
But
the thing is to grieve the oppression rather than shut
Sure.
yourself down.
It does fit. I understand completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've chosen to shut yourself down
Yes.
rather than grieve the oppression.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've basically said, I'm to blame
Mm.
for the way I feel, rather than going, no, my feelings are actually accurate.
Yeah.
Yep. Your feelings about the oppression coming from others is are quite accurate, actually, but you've been told ever since your childhood that they're not accurate. That it's not accurate to feel the way you feel, and so you've learnt to distance yourself from your own feelings, and now it's a matter of trying to get in reconnection with your own feelings about it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good luck with that, John.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing how it
I'm
goes.
so glad I came.
Sorry?
I'm so glad I came.
Yeah, I reckon you're going to be able to do it quite well, because as Mary pointed out, most people we meet with autism when they're adults are already quite angry as well about feelings. And so you don't really feel like that to us, so you won't have to bear that additional layer to go through. And most people who are autistic or who have Asperger's do have that layer of anger on top, and they want to stay distant to that as well.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like a double layer of things they're trying to stay distant to.
I do feel quite fearful, though. Is that not adding to the perhaps the anger?
Well, you are quite afraid, but that's part of the, your child. Again, like I was saying to John, your childhood, Johnny, here, your childhood wasn't good, right? And you, I think, to some degree now have an understanding that it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a good start. The key now is to allow yourself to feel what you did to manage it to yourself.
Yeah.
That it's something you've done to yourself now.
Yeah, okay.
Shutting yourself down. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
So they did it to you, and then they blamed you, and this double action of doing it to you and then blaming you caused you to distance even further. Yep. And now, so you've got to feel, firstly, they did it to me, and also they blamed me. And eventually what they did is blame the condition.
Yeah.
Got it.
So they told themselves they weren't blaming you by telling themselves you had a condition. Do you follow me?
I do, yes.
And they weren't going to blame themselves.
No.
So now they've got something they can blame. They can blame a condition rather than you or them, they're thinking. But actually, they did blame you.
Yeah.
And they wanted it to be a condition so they couldn't face what they're doing emotionally.
Yeah.
Most parents have hardly any idea about how harsh their emotions are going towards children. That they're like intensely harsh,
Yeah.
And a person who's sensitive, like yourself, is going to withdraw very rapidly when they're that harsh,
Could I ask one more question?
Yep.
Why is an autistic person are they designed more sensitively? Is that the case, or is it?
Well, there's certain types of personalities which we could call more gentle types of personalities, of which you're one, that are attracted to parents who are oppressive. The law has designed it so that the parents attract the child, which hopefully the parents then look at themselves more reflectively. Right. So generally, a person who's sort of like a softer, gentler person is generally attracted to harsher parents, so that the parents can see the damage they're doing through their harshness.
It's the law. It's not you.
It's not the law.
attracting.
It's not.
It's
It's
the
the
law
law
operating.
Yeah.
And if
It's
for
God's
those
law
of you
operating to help them
to
and
help the parent.
yeah, and in other words, they could learn from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those of you who've had children would feel that that's quite often a heart-opening process, and at least initially.
Usually it's the most heart-opening process in a person's entire life, having a child.
And so God's
Usually.
laws are saying, well, this is a moment, this is a time where you might be sensitive to how your condition is. Here is a child that will expose it to the most degree.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of parents don't choose to take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't respond. And in fact, treat the child worse, as they have done you, and then blame the child for the child's response, which they have done to you. And that then causes often the person who's quite sensitive to withdraw. The person who's soft and gentle doesn't want to get all violent
Or
rebellious.
No.
They just, there's no other choice but to withdraw. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's affected your whole life, right?
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's sad like that. Many of our childhood experiences have affected our entire life and the decisions we've made. I'm still right now dealing with stuff that happened in my childhood.
Thank you.